Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back everybody for another YouTube video. This is going to be your daily cryptocurrency market update, and we're going to be bringing you the latest news taking place within the cryptocurrency market. Also looking at the market technically and doing a little bit of cross-market analysis. So if that sounds good, guys, strap yourselves in. Let's get straight into this video. Let's start off by taking a look at where Bitcoin currently is. Yesterday, we spoke about the fact that this structure was not promising bottoming structure and actually showed a lot of weakness. You had a textbook, absolutely textbook breakout of this, or fake out, I should say, only for us to find that downside. And you're essentially doing the exact same thing here again, ladies and gentlemen. However, I do potentially see a short squeeze taking place, and this is as a result of just how many people are FOMOing into short products and short positions at the moment. I hate it as a trader when everybody's on the side of the trade that I'm taking. So if I'm short and everybody starts piling in short, it makes me nervous as hell. And we're seeing a record inflow to investment products such as the CoinShares short market coverage product, and this is really quite worrying. Now there is reason for this. In regard, and when I'm talking about, there is the room for a short squeeze, what I'm really saying here is on a very small time frame. So we're talking, maybe this week, over the next week or so. But for me, I think it's risky to be taking any kind of a long in this situation. Where you currently are right now for Bitcoin is very much in this kind of danger zone. And we've shown you all the reasons why we think this is just the start of a longer leg of capitulation, potentially taking you back to these sort of levels here. And if we take a look at Greyscale's BTC product, you are already you've essentially retraced the majority of this breakout, and you're actually now putting in lows and going into that March 2020 sell-off. So is this potentially front-running the cryptocurrency market? Let's overlay them. Possibly. I mean, you're not quite as low here. You're not in this sort of zone here where you are for Greyscale in sort of 2018's levels. But potentially what Greyscale's investment product is showing us is the institutional lack of interest in the cryptocurrency market, and perhaps forewarning further capitulation. I think this is potential, or has potential. I also think that what we're seeing right now is a lot of FTX contagion. So we're still seeing the ripples of what happened with FTX, continue to damage the industry. We've seen it most recently with Genesis, which of course were in charge of Gemini's Earn program. We saw essentially they came out this week, or the prior week, the week just gone, and said that they were going to. Gemini came out and said we're going to halt all withdrawals on the Earn program because Genesis essentially are having issues. There's also speculation in regards to Coinbase. I think Coinbase is actually relatively safe. Do not quote me on that. That's just my own personal feelings. I still have very small amounts of crypto on Coinbase. But I don't plan on moving them anytime soon. And this is talking about Coinbase shares tumblers, Bitcoin slide continues, investors fear contagion from FTX. So this is the problem with taking a long in this market. And when I say potentially there is going to be a short squeeze, I mean on the very small time frame. So maybe you get something like this, only for it to retrace just as fast and bring all this liquidity with it. That is a definite scenario in my opinion. We did successfully short yesterday. We were short Chainlink, and we will potentially be looking for longs today. And the reason we're looking for longs today is because we think the market may have a bit of a rest. You're kind of struggling here to put in, this I thought should have spilt. This target from this pennant literally perfectly gave you this price action. The problem is, I'd probably maybe take this as a double bottom and look to take this to the upside, but I wouldn't hold it for long at all because we are literally treading on very, very thin ice given, what's essentially took place with FTX and the fact that we haven't quite felt the ripples of it just yet. We haven't felt the full extent. The move hasn't kind of been ran out of momentum. And like I say, maybe Grayscale's Bitcoin trust is sort of front running the cryptocurrency market or Bitcoin's price action. There is a potential for that. You know, ultimately, I still do see more downside for the crypto market. Stock market was marginally down yesterday, but the futures market is, of course, up slightly today. We've got the likes of gold up, the UK market's up, Asian market's majority down, but this potentially is all forewarning that the cryptocurrency market could have a bit of a green day today. And certainly, like I said at the start of the video, whenever I see, you know, FTX crisis leads to record inflows into short investment products. In the aftermath of FTX collapse has soared crypto investor sentiment with record inflows into short investment products last week, said CoinShares. Now, we've been keeping you up to date with this short product inflows. And essentially, every time you've had a record jump in short flows, one that we looked at was actually the short QQ, which is the NASDAQ shorts. The last time we had a record inflow of them, the market absolutely rallied. So this makes me a little bit worried. So I'm not calling for, you know, certainly not calling for the bottom of a bear market here. You guys know that we actually do think from the break of this, a 50% sell-off isn't out of the realms of possibility. Okay? We think that's potentially could be the case. You know, you could be looking at maybe a 50% sell-off. You could be looking at sub 10K. That is absolutely possible. I think it's going to get a bid before then. You know, me and my Patreons are looking for levels where we will buy up the market. However, you know, what I'm calling for here when I say there could be a short-term rally is exactly that, a short-term rally. You've essentially set this structure up that we were watching. You've broken to the downside of it. Not only did you break to the downside of this structure, you did it on decent volume. So we actually saw a real rise in volume on this breakout, showing some commitment to the move. And now you're essentially just putting in this concession of, you know, sort of marginally lower lows, potentially ready to spill to the downside. However, what may happen is you may get something like this. So this is actually something that I'm not ruling out. And from a trading probability, from an investment probability, guys, all you need to understand is that this market is going lower. We speak about macro, micro, whatever reasons that are out there to suggest that, and we really try and stack those chips in our favor. However, from a trading point of view, whenever you see, and remember you did have price action, which is why you got this bounce here, a record flow of shorts entering the market, and people too oversized in, or the mass is too oversized in one direction, that's usually the recipe for people to get wrecked, okay? And certainly liquidated if they're using any kind of leverage. So I wouldn't rule out some sort of a rally here. But I just think that to take that long, you need very, very good risk management. So you need to make sure you know where, if you're going to take the long here, where are you getting stopped while the run of this low? You need to stick to that. Don't get faked into just take your loss and deal with it if you've took the long here. You don't want to be holding, because the problem is with this current price structure is you've essentially got hot air underneath you. Certainly if you look at your altcoins and you're short in your altcoin market, there's not a lot to save you underneath you. So yeah, there's the potential for a short squeeze. You do potentially have this double bottom, which is a really good trading signal. I love this signal. This is a signal that I'll typically take. Just potentially not in a market that's as brutal as the one we're currently in. But we do have the kind of cross market maybe backing to see some sort of a long today. You know, the dollar's selling off. We've got, or taking a rest, I should say. Let's talk about the dollar, because this is something that we've said. You know, I've said this. I essentially think everyone's called top dollar here. And this sell-off, they've gone, yep, we were right. I think the dollar's coming back with a vengeance. And I think you're actually going to see a 2001 game plan. I think you're going to see this. You're going to see something like this, and you're going to get maybe a concession of higher highs or marginally higher highs. But I do think a higher high is coming. And I think when that happens, okay, the cryptocurrency market during the FTX contagion hasn't been correlated that much to the dollar because it had its own internal things going on. However, it will fall back into line, just like we saw all markets fall back into line yesterday when the dollar starts to roll. So it's going to be a very interesting run up to Christmas. We'll see what happens today. You know, I'm not calling long here necessarily, but what I am saying is there's the room for a short squeeze. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily bet against the sort of broader direction of this market. You know, this doesn't look massively like strength. And the problem you've got is, get rid of the volume. I always find volume really annoying on charts. It's great if you're just doing separate volume analysis, but generally I don't like to leave volume on the charts. It's just messy as hell. But the problem you've got is if you now come and invalidate what potentially could be a grind line, you know, maybe you do something like this. Maybe you just grind above it and then you drop and you form some sort of a symmetrical triangle again. And then this time there's a bit of news behind it and it really runs us up to that 15K level. Potentially you get something like that. I'm just not, I don't even know if I'd bet on holding this here, because you've really just broken this consolidation. You've broken broader consolidation that you've been in for 100 and this is why I think this move is not over. You've broken broader consolidation that you've been in for nearly 150 days. When you break a range that you've been ranging in for that sort of a time period, you typically break it with some significant momentum. And that's the worry in regards to looking to the downside. And like I say, we do think that, you know, is a 50% from this break of this trend line, not where we currently are, guys. People love to jump the gun with what I'm saying. At the realms of possibility, absolutely not. And potentially is Greyscale's BTC front running that. We will see. All I've got for you in this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, like as well, appreciate so as a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Have a wonderful Tuesday, guys. See you in the next one.